Hello, this is Nikias from Pfinztal, another video from home. We have a question about boot up time of our decoder. So, boot up times. The thing is that I really hate boot up times. It's something that it can be extremely nerve-wracking when you need to get something done. I have the same issue with benchtop equipment that I use in the lab all the time. So actually it's a requirement for benchtop equipment to boot up quickly so that it's a good tool. And so I can fully understand that you don't want to have the decoder, you don't want the decoder to have a long boot up time. We've been working on this for quite a long time now, and the basic restriction is the boot up time of the reader inside the decoder. We are waiting for the reader to boot up, and there is at the moment nothing we can really do about it. We've been talking to Zebra for the last 2 years, and they promised us a new firmware, especially for the new reader, and I hope that it's going to come out soon, hopefully before this crisis is over. Let's see. But at the moment it's very hard to make any prediction of what's going to happen. The good news is if there is a new firmware, then we will be able to deploy it automatically with a firmware upgrade of the decoder itself. We can upgrade the reader inside the box without you noticing it at all. But there are some interesting points about this issue that I want to point out. So one thing is, why is the boot up time so long, and why doesn't Zebra really do anything about it? And that's because for normal applications where the reader is used, boot up time is not important. Normally the reader is set up in a warehouse, something, it's turned on once, and then that's it. And nobody cares for the boot up time. So this is actually a very special requirement that we have there. And I don't know if you're aware of that, but we already have a special firmware running on that reader, turning it into a timekeeping reader, because the standard firmware that you normally get when you buy that particular reader, and basically all the readers out there, were never made for timekeeping. So they are optimized for warehouse applications. And so Zebra actually has a special branch of firmware just for us, and one thing that they are now hopefully integrating into that branch is a quicker boot up time, among other things that we need. Something like, for example, the antenna return loss measurement that we have. It's also a pretty important thing, because if you have temporary antenna setups like our mats, you always want to know whether your setup is okay or not, and it's not enough to just test it once when you set it up in the warehouse. But there's also another point which is interesting about this, is the problem that we are relying on our manufacturer here. So we have a certain application and we have certain requirements for that application, and our requirements differ from everyone else. So what we found is that in many things that we did in the last 10 years, for us it was the best option to finally at the end do it ourselves. And this is what we did in the track boxes. So one of the main drivers behind the decision to do our own reader in the track box was exactly that we can optimize that reader specifically for our application and do a reader which does exactly what we need. So just for boot up time, for example, the reader inside the track box boots up in 5 seconds. So that's a completely different story there. And there are many other things that we can do with the reader in the track box that we could never do with a standard reader out there. So I hope that's interesting background information, and I hope that you're all safe out there. Yeah, it's really not looking that great. Our estimation at the moment for this year is quite bad. We don't expect a lot of events happening this summer. Hopefully we'll see some events in fall, but that's not sure yet. So let's see what happens, and let's see if we can get the reader to boot up quicker before the crisis is over. So see you then.